Bankruptcy is a scary but a necessary thing for many people. And statistics show most bankruptcy filings are done by people, not by businesses. But there are ways to make it work to your advantage in the Sunshine State. And Melanie Newby from Jodat Law Group is here with the details. All right, Melanie, let's talk about bankruptcy. Tell me a little about why a person would need to file bankruptcy.
Well, there are a lot of different reasons why people get into financial trouble. The most common reasons I see in my clients are the fact that someone has either gone through a divorce that with a loss of income, a spouse who may have been out of work due to illness, or a spouse who's died. If you're working and your hours get cut or your job gets eliminated and you're unable to find another job. Those are all reasons people have difficulty sometimes paying their bills. Then you start to worry about, well, if I can't pay my bills, am I going to get sued? Are they going to try and garnish my wages? So then that's why they come in to see me.
So this is a way to protect yourself, huh?
Yes. I mean, if we can wipe out the underlying debt in a bankruptcy, then you don't have to worry about having someone either put a lien on your home or taking your car or, garnishing your paycheck or your bank account. All
right, so are there multiple types of bankruptcies, or is just one thing?
Well, for individuals, there are mainly two, a Chapter 7 and a Chapter 13. And the distinction is that a Chapter 7 is where the unsecured debts, except for certain things like student loans, I think everyone knows, they don't get wiped out. If you owe child support or alimony, that doesn't get wiped out. But a lot of the other regular things like credit card debt, medical bills, if you've had a repossession or an old cell phone bill that didn't get paid, those get just wiped out in a Chapter 7 and you move on. It only takes a few months. It's fast. It's fairly painless. But a Chapter 13, the distinction is generally going to be your income. If you think of it as in a Chapter 7, when looking at your income and your expenses, there really is no money left over to put towards the debt that you're worried about. But in a Chapter 13, there is some income. It may not be enough to pay it all off.
Okay, but something is there.
But yeah.
So when you're talking about these assets, and I know you said wiping out certain things, but when a Chapter 7, what assets can you, still keep?
Well, that's kind of the fun part for bankruptcy lawyers, just because of the fact that it depends on which state's exemptions you're using. Exemptions just mean stuff, what you're allowed to keep. So if you are using Florida exemptions, then as long as you have been living in Florida at least 2 years, you get to use Florida exemptions. That includes the unlimited homestead. And I won't get into too much detail because I'll probably bore everyone, but you have to have owned a homestead for a certain period of time. But if you have, then you get to keep your house and all the equity you have in it. But other than that, you don't get to keep a whole lot under Florida exemptions.
What about medical expenses? Can you keep that with Chapter 7 or write those off?
Yes, medical expenses are, I get asked that a lot. There's, I think, a misconception that medical debt is somehow different, although it's not, and it's one of the main reasons people come in to see me. If you've had an extended illness, even if you have insurance, the cost can add up. And if you don't have insurance because you were unemployed maybe at the time or just weren't insured, then definitely you're going to need to get rid of those debts. So, and you don't want to drag those around. I mean, people file for bankruptcy because they realize that it's a good way to move forward. If you're just going to be dragging debt for years and not able to pay it, bankruptcy is a great way to sort of, as they say, cut your losses and go forward with your life.
But can you get credit after that?
Yes. People think that it's years and years before you can get credit, and that's not true. The way I tell my clients is that if you think about a credit report, if you've ever looked at one, when you file a bankruptcy, where it may say now that a debt is in default or in collections or charged off or 30 days late, something negative. What happens is after a bankruptcy, it goes through and says discharged in bankruptcy.
Wow.
So.
All right, so one last question. What should the person do or not do if they want to get consultant or, before they get consulting?
Before you do anything, if you're thinking about bankruptcy, see a bankruptcy lawyer. That's the first thing. The internet's a great place, but there's a lot of information about bankruptcy that may apply to you, it may not. People get scared and they think, oh, my car is worth too much, I need to trade it to my brother for $1. Don't do things like that. Don't do things like that.
All right, thank you so much, Melanie. Now, if you guys have any questions or want to find out more about bankruptcy, you want to go to Jodat's website, and that is jodatlawgroup.com. And coming up next, we're celebrating the birthday of a famous bride, Blonde. We'll be right back.